Hello and welcome everyone to the StreamKick Podcast. My name is Camper. I'm your host, and tonight I am joined by the often misquoted but never misinformed Rhino Pause.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, Rhino? And tonight we also have the man who has art on every wall of his house, Ace.
Hey, every wall.
Every wall is covered. And finally, the man who spends more time daily on his eyebrows than most people spend at the office, RoboKast. Appreciate the input before we started recording. It helps when you tell me about your day. I'm like, oh, now I have something to talk about. How's it going, guys? Excellent. So we have a pretty interesting show lined up for tonight. We are gonna hit a couple stories in the news, and then we are going to talk to several folks off of the Mixer platform. So we got in touch with several streamers from Mixer. As you guys know, if you've been listening to the show or just paying any attention to anything in this industry, you know that Microsoft pulled the plug on Mixer a couple weeks ago, and July 22nd, I believe, is the official end date of the platform. So a lot of those guys and gals went over to Facebook. A lot of them didn't. Some ended up at YouTube, some ended up at Twitch. But we wanted to talk to some of the people who were affected by this and kind of understand like what was their experience at Mixer all about. How do they feel about what's happened? Where are they going to be going, or where have they already gone? Most people just went ahead and made the switch already because they're not going to wait it out. So we have a really interesting and I think really fun show lined up for you guys tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in. But first, a couple things happened this week we wanted to cover really quickly. Caffeine, who we've talked about a few times on the show, just landed another $113 million in funding. This is crazy because this actually takes their valuation to, what is it, like $600 million or something right now? Yeah. So these guys are now over the $600 million mark. So they're pushing that $1 billion unicorn status. And for what, I have absolutely no idea. But what's interesting is I was looking at who led this round. And unlike previous rounds or unlike rounds with other streaming platforms, this one was led primarily by companies that are in the entertainment space, specifically like television and broadcast entertainment. I say that's interesting because that's kind of been the angle that Caffeine has been taking. They said we want to be more in that quote unquote live entertainment space, or real time interactive entertainment space, I guess is their phrase for it. So I think this aligns pretty well with kind of where they're headed as a platform and the niche they're trying to carve out for themselves. But at a $600 million valuation for a very, very young company that hasn't really done much, does that really make a lot of sense? I mean, how do they justify a valuation like that when essentially they've done nothing? Rhino, what's your thoughts on that? How do they get away with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so focused on the valuation. I mean, the amount of capital they've raised is certainly impressive. Their partnership with Fox is certainly impressive. I don't know. I go on Caffeine. I'm blinded by all the colors. I don't see any good content. It's such in its infancy stage. It's difficult for me to envision what their end goal is. I mean, it sounds like they want to be everything entertainment, sports, gaming. But you know, I feel like it's going to be a while before we really see what they're anticipated to evolve into. But yeah, I mean, they're certainly unlike any other platform like Twitch or Mixer or YouTube. It's this whole thing about social as its premise for discovery. I kind of envision like you go on Facebook and that's just going to feed you as the content you want to see based on what your friends are watching, and as you comment on things is also going to be based on what your friends are commenting on. So it's an entirely different premise that nobody else is doing. So I mean, I think their uniqueness is their first mover advantage. But I think it'll be a while to see whether they're successful or not.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good take. And I mean, I commend them for trying to do something different and trying to stand out. But to me, it just seems like that's an awful lot of money, and I think it's got to go towards more than just signing talent. I mean, we saw with Mixer, you can't just sign talent and blow up, right? Like they signed Drake, cool, but he's just doing rap battles that he's not even hosting. So I mean, how much is that actually worth, you know? That being said, I mean, Robo, I'll toss this one over to you, man. But like, where do you see a platform like this kind of fitting into the overall streaming landscape? You've been fucking around with streaming platforms this last week, so you've gotten a good taste for it. So what are your thoughts on caffeine?
Yeah. What I see personally, this could be a long shot, but since a lot of the companies that are investing into caffeine are like major TV companies, you know, they have series on TV, they do full production TV episodes, stuff like that. I could totally see this going a couple of ways. First of all, it could be almost like, you know, because not everybody wants to sign up for Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Fox Plus. Like if every company tried to make their own streaming platform, it probably wouldn't work very well. So the first way I could see this going is like kind of like the Twitch of watching TV on demand. So like maybe, you know, like live episode launches of like a TV show, since nobody watches actual TV anymore. Or a more creative route, which I'm not really expecting because, as we all know, the TV industry doesn't really adapt like they should.
Doesn't innovate, yeah.
But this could be cool if they did do this. But basically, I could see it being like an interactive entertainment type of thing where, you know, like maybe what's an example? Like a game show, right? And then everybody in the chat like votes for something that's going on. Like, remember how back in the day you could like, you probably could still do this, but like, you know, American Idol or whatever, you go on and you vote online for who you want.
Oh yeah. Well, before that, they had
to like call in.
Yeah. Different number for each vote. Yeah.
So I could see it going that kind of way where it's like live interaction with TV shows, if they actually decide to innovate.
Yeah, Ace, that would have been the late 1900s.
Yeah, the late 1900s. Exactly. that happened in, yes.
This man literally before the podcast was like, yeah, I think Supreme started in like the late 1900s instead of saying the 90s. It's just like, come on, man.
Context. It's the early 2000s or the late 1900s. There.
Yeah, it's all about sound bites, not context. Well, anyway, Ace, while we've got you paying attention, I went on Caffeine's homepage when I was looking into this, and I if you go there, you notice at the top, like above the fold and then just below the fold, it's all more or less non-gaming content. Like they're trying hard to push that narrative. If you go just another layer deeper, everything else is gaming. So it really
are, right?
Yeah, it really appears like gaming is like, as much as they want this other stuff to be it's just not there yet, because the thing that they want is already established in another place, right? It's already on, you know, it's already doing stuff on TV. It's already doing stuff in the movies and its own entertainment, like all these things. Whereas gaming, like this is gaming's medium. So, you know, this is exactly how Justin TV launched and almost failed. It went non-gaming because it didn't know any better. It was the first to do it, right? It pivoted to gaming, and now Twitch is starting to go back to non-gaming, right? It's like this circle. So do you think Caffeine is going to be able to succeed making the pivot as quickly as they are, going from gaming to non-gaming? Mixer couldn't even get gaming to work. So what do these guys think they're going to do?
Well, maybe not. But one thing is for sure, and that is that the timing of this and the timing of the pivot is very unique in the sense that every platform right now in the industry is kind of making a stride to define their niche and their mark. And if Caffeine can do that now and quickly, while these other platforms either fizzle like Mixer or kind of make a name for themselves in specific areas, I think that they can. I clearly don't think that the market for live streaming non-gaming content is as big, so it's gonna be harder for them to capitalize on it. But you know, as we say, specialization wins, and if they can carve that out and keep doing what they're doing, yeah, I think they should be able to pull it off with that much funding, especially. That looks good. It's a good start.
It's a good start. Yeah, they've got some good people there, and it's a good start. Cool. Well, enough about Caffeine. I want to talk about Ninja for a minute. So Ninja, everyone's kind of been wondering while we're on this whole Mixer thing, what happens to him this week? It seems like he decided. It's maybe since we first saw this, maybe undecided. We're not sure, but he started streaming on YouTube. I popped over just to kind of see what it was looking like, and he had 106,000 viewers, I think, when I got there. So that's just a few more than he had on Mixer. I think on Mixer he was like 10K, and I think on Twitter, that's the second time I've done that today. On Twitch, I want to say he was usually averaging around 40 to 60-ish thousand, I think. So 100,000 is pretty, 106 is pretty darn good. Robo, I'm going to ask you, because you're the self-proclaimed king of YouTube. What are the benefits of Ninja like staying at YouTube? I mean, is this a better platform for him? Just knowing what we know, like, do you think this is the right move for him?
First of all, I am not the self-proclaimed YouTube guy.
Oh, sorry.
So I just want to clarify that. But I don't know. I don't really see any benefit to anything with YouTube and streaming. Like, what I mean by that is YouTube could sign freaking, I mean, I guess Ninja would be one of the biggest people they could sign, but whatever. They could sign anybody and it would have zero impact on people using Twitch for live stream or YouTube for live streaming, because
Contagious.
Well, like, what I think is people don't really watch YouTube to live stream exclusively. They watch YouTube to find creators that they enjoy who may also be live streaming, and then they'll start watching their streams. That's kind of what's happened with my streams on there. I don't think YouTube should try to become an exclusively live streaming platform. I don't think signing people is going to make them become it anymore. I may sound like I'm rambling like crazy, but the TLDR here is, like, I don't think it's going to do anything. It may bring some viewers to Ninja's channel, but in the big scope of things, good, I guess. I mean, they signed PewDiePie. Like, this is nothing. You know what I mean?
Good point. I mean, if you were going to one up Ninja, PewDiePie would probably be.
That's probably like the biggest people you could sign. That's not like, A tier celebrity.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we don't know that he's even signed anything, right? We just know that he happened to be streaming there.
Oh, okay,
right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, nothing's been disclosed. We don't know if they've paid him anything, if he just went there or whatnot. But what has me scratching my head though, and Ace, I'm gonna throw this one to you, man. But what the hell did Twitch do to this dude? To even when it's like down to like the last couple where he's like, nope, still not going back. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's been super ambiguous and cloudy, like what the issue was there specifically. I think one thing's for sure, and that is that Ninja is not going to stream for free anywhere. But even so, I also, there's also some things that point to him maybe making less money on YouTube than Twitch, and maybe it isn't financially or the best thing for him to stay on YouTube, but he hasn't always done what's best for him in terms of money necessarily. I think he's more focused on the content and more focused on the platform and his limitations and his opportunities. And he took this time that he's been off and with Mixer to like focus on brand deals, and he got an apparel line with Adidas, and he's been building his brand. So I think now he's just focused more on content than money.
Yeah, I think I think Ninja catches a lot of shit, right? Because he's at the top of the heap. That's just kind of part of the game, right? But I don't really feel like a lot of the bullshit he deals with is really justified a lot of times. I really feel like he is one of the most genuine people in this space, and I feel like he a lot of times does things that are not financially motivated. He happens to make money doing those things, but that's kind of like saying, like, you hung out at Starbucks all day and you come home and you smell like coffee. It's like, it doesn't mean I'm a barista, right? That's just how it works, right? He does the things he does, and he happens to make money when he does it. And then sometimes he does things specifically for money, but the guy's running a business. He's running a brand. Like, that's just how it is. So I don't think this decision is financially motivated. I mean, he just cleared a check from Microsoft for 30 million. So I mean, he's doing okay, right?
Sitting
he's
pretty.
Doing okay.
Yep.
Sitting pretty. Cool. Well, that's the news segment for this episode. Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to get into talking to our Mixer guests. We're going to do these one at a time. We are going to get started here. Let's go ahead and pull our first person in. Jay,
hello.
Welcome to the StreamKick Podcast.
It is an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
For sure, man. Thanks for joining us. So for those listening, this is Jay. I'm going to try to pronounce your last name. Just give me one shot at it. If I get it wrong, correct me, please. JayVersluis?
100% on the money. Well done.
Holy shit. That's show's over, boys. We're going home.
Very
That's
good.
the prediction of the night. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. So Jay is one of our former Mixer streamer guests. And Jay, how long did you stream on Mixer?
I started in 2018 as part of kind of getting my feet wet with live streaming as such. I had never live streamed before, and I wasn't really sure where to do that. And the most logical thing for me to do back then was to go and stream everywhere. So I discovered Restream, and Restream was offering streaming to my popular YouTube channel and to Twitch as well as Mixer. So I thought I'd go down all these avenues, and it's been a blast. It's one of those things that I remember when I started was that as somebody who has literally no followers on both Mixer and Twitch, and I had about like 5,000 subscribers on YouTube back then, I could see that what the same content did and how well the content performed at the same time on different platforms. And to my surprise, and this is kind of what I take away from how great Mixer was, is people discovered me. Twitch, I grew to about maybe 30 followers within 6 months. On Mixer, I grew to about 120. And that's like, 40 times as much. It's kind of crazy. Or like 4 times as much. And so it really goes to show that the same content was performing so much better on Mixer.
What type of stuff do you like to stream, Jay?
Well, back then I streamed. So my YouTube channel is focused on tech and 3D tutorials, and that's how I have that kind of community. So 3D tips and tricks about DAZ Studio and Blender, and I don't know how you pair your Logitech receiver with 2 devices and stuff like that, and how to find your YouTube channel URL. One of the most amazing videos on my channel. Is very popular. I don't really know why no one can find their YouTube channel. So that's how the community kind of started, and we like to come together and just shoot the breeze and talk about how do you do X, Y, and Z in 3D while watching a nice 3D creation like Subnautica or anything that has nice graphics, really.
And Jay, you're on Twitch now?
Well, I'm kind of, I'm at a crossroads. I think I'm going to go with YouTube. I'm an affiliate with Twitch, but I've got I don't know, on YouTube. That's kind of where my audience is. But I really don't know if I should stream there for good or if I should go with Twitch. I really don't know. On one hand, with Twitch, I'm not allowed to multi-stream as an affiliate. You're not allowed to do that. So I don't know if I want to take that exclusivity hit or if I want to go with YouTube and potentially Facebook and perhaps DLive and what other platforms are out there. It's a tough one. I haven't really made up my mind. I've been just streaming on YouTube 3 months straight during the pandemic every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that worked great. We had a safe place to hang out. I'm kind of missing that. I want to restart that up again. But if I'm going to do that on YouTube or somewhere else, I don't know yet. It's tough.
So Robo, you have any thoughts on that? Because you're doing the YouTube thing right now. We're just talking about you streaming over there. What do you think?
Yeah. So Jay, I've actually been streaming on. Well, I'm not very experienced streaming. I'll throw that out there straight from the beginning. But I've messed around on Trovo for a little bit, and then I already have an established YouTube channel. So I came on YouTube and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it another shot. I haven't checked it out in like a year. I do genuinely like where YouTube is going. Like, I love how you can just create a stream and then it goes right to an unlisted or even a public video directly afterwards. And I think YouTube is a pretty solid place. And I agree with you on the fact that that's where your audience is. So personally, like one thing I will say is I'm about to start experimenting with the, are you familiar with like the channel membership things?
I'm not eligible yet. 30,000 subscribers I need.
Gotcha. Well, whenever you get there, you should definitely look into that because it's kind of cool. Like, because I guess the difference is with Twitch, you have like the 3 set tiers of subscribing,
right?
But you can make whatever tier you want. Like, I made one that's like $1.99, $4.99, and then
that's how that
$9.99.
works.
Oh, that's how it works on YouTube. I didn't know.
Oh, that's
yeah.
I didn't realize
when you see the join button, that's what that is.
Wow.
Right.
That's
so
gaming
channels, when YouTube was doing the YouTube gaming or gaming.youtube.com, they gave that join button to channels with like up to 2,000 subscribers. They could join into that program. Mm-hmm. And since then, they've kind of shifted the regulations as YouTube do every once in a while. So now channels with 30,000 subscribers or more are eligible for that.
So
Okay.
there was a company around in the like 2016 2017 timeframe called GameWisp, and these guys had basically what you just described, Robo, is you could create subscriber tiers on any streaming platform, and they could be anything that you wanted them to be, and all they took, their cut was just $1. So
I mean,
whatever
Wow.
isn't that
your
basically like Patreon though?
um I don't know, is it?
In a
I
way,
don't know.
yeah,
That's
Well,
how
I
Patreon
suppose.
works.
Yeah.
okay. Well, it was integrated with the different streaming platforms, and then Twitch basically was just like, you know what? They didn't have an affiliate program at the time. Twitch is like, oh, we'll just do affiliate program, and then that company was gone within like 6 months. They were just out of business because it was like, well, we don't need that anymore. But I always thought it was a brilliant idea because you could do just what you said, just set anything you want. You could
Mhm.
add any perks you want, any benefits you want, any of that stuff. Obviously, you didn't get emotes and stuff, but who cares? But it was a really cool feature. I didn't realize YouTube did that. That's really
Mm.
neat.
Yeah. And the
And
cool thing about it is, sorry about that. The cool thing is, I like the implementation is there to where I can like one of the perks is I can finish my stream, put it as an unlisted video, and then share it to people who have that tier. So it's all in one place. They could go back, watch the stream afterwards, and see what they missed in the click of a button.
right. It's good. I
So
like it. I mean, there's many benefits that I see with YouTube that I don't see with Twitch. I mean, partially that I saw with Mixer as well. One of those is guaranteed transcodes. Everyone gets transcodes on YouTube, no matter if you've got 0 subscribers or 5 million. Everyone gets great transcodes. On Twitch, as an affiliate, you get transcodes sometimes, but not all
yeah,
the time. You're not guaranteed. Only partners are guaranteed transcodes. On
yeah.
Mixer,
YouTube figured out the bandwidth thing a long time ago. They
I
had to.
suppose,
So
yes. The thing
it's just a
with
lot easier for
Mixer,
them.
what I'd love for Twitch to do is on Mixer, you could join Mixer Pro, $7.99 a month. It gives you lots of other benefits, but one of them was guaranteed transcodes. So, on Twitch, it's kind of a hit and miss. You may get them, you may not get them, but you're just not guaranteed that that's happening as an affiliate. So, yeah, that's one of those things
So
I'd like for them
So
to.
Mixer had a program where, as a streamer, you paid to get better access.
Yes, it was called Mixer Pro, and I was a member. Partners got it for free as a perk. And one of the things was the transcodes thing. The other thing was, I believe, while you watched other channels, you got twice as many sparks. You could collect twice as many sparks. The third one, and that's the big thing why Mixer Pro was a really cool idea, was that console streamers who don't have a capture card, who stream directly from a console, could go through Lightstream Studio. And that's a web-based service that sends your signal from your console through Lightstream Studio, where you can then have overlays, and that's going on live to your Mixer channel. So you don't have to have a PC or any kind of capture card. You can stream directly from your console, use your headset, and just put subscriber alerts and all kinds of alerts via web interface onto your stream. And that was included with Mixer Pro.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. This has been super educational. Jay, thank you so much, man. We want to get the next guest in, but before we do, 2 quick questions for you. One, what is it about your channel that stands out, and why should someone come and watch you and follow and subscribe to your channel?
Good question. Very good question. Positive vibes. That's what it's all about for me. Positivity and a bit of a distraction from everyday life, really. We shoot the breeze about 3D tips and tricks. We're kind of a community that is geared around making 3D scenes and things like Blender, and how do you do X, Y, and Z in Dash Studio, and how do they recreate that in game engine. So that's kind of what we talk about. But, at the same time, we just forget about COVID. We forget about everyday worries, and we just shoot the breeze and make fun of a video game that I can't really play very well. Or I'll do a 3D demonstration, and that is why you should come and subscribe and hang out with us.
That is really cool. I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 other streamers who are involved in like the 3D art and design and that type of thing. And when they do those streams, they don't do them often, but when they do them, those are fascinating to watch, because that kind of work gets used in so many different other areas that we enjoy in entertainment and stuff. And it's really neat to see that craft. Jay, real quick, plug, where would you like to be found? Hit them up with the links and everything.
Yeah, I will hit you up with the links. It's on YouTube. Search for The WP Guru. That's youtube.com/The WP Guru. I'm also on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/WP Guru. And on Twitter, I'm using my last name. That's that complicated one. It's a Dutch name, actually. It's Versluis. Twitter.com/Versluis for new articles, new videos, and stream announcements.
JayVersluis, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a real pleasure to get to know you, and
Same here.
maybe we'll have you back one day. It's been awesome. We'll drop in as a Hound stream one day.
Please do. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jay. And next up, we have Mixtopher.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Startled me. I was having a conversation in the other room, and I was like, "Oh, hello."
I figured that was probably going to happen the way we're doing this.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. We're doing great. Appreciate you taking some time to chat with us. Sorry for just yanking you out of that conversation.
No worries.
Everybody's going to get pulled out at one point or another. So,
yeah.
Cool. Ace, did you want to take this one?
Yeah, man, sure.
Fire away, man.
So I'm really curious to know. I mean, we've heard from a couple different people about their experiences with Mixer and kind of where they're going. So I'd love to hear first more about kind of what your experience was on Mixer, the kind of content you streamed, and how you went about building that community on there.
So I started in 2012 on Twitch, and I moved over to Beam at those days in 2014. And I do full franchise marathons where I'll play every single game in a franchise leading up to the new game. And so the biggest one I did probably on Mixer was the Mario one. I played every single Mario all the way up to Mario Odyssey, all those kind of things.
Shit. How long did that take?
Oh, man, that was brutal. I remember Mario Brothers 2 is the hardest one for me. That was tough.
Jeez.
But then I've done, on Mixer alone, I've done Metroid, did every Halo, and I always dress up as the characters I'm playing as and just crack jokes, stuff like that.
Nice.
So it was a lot different in those days, and I got partnered the year before the Microsoft acquisition. So I was actually a Beam partner for almost 2 years before that. And then things completely changed under that corporate umbrella.
Tell us about that.
A lot more, I don't know, there's just a lot more pressure and things that aren't allowed, or that was when more favoritism became more prevalent into who they were willing to listen to about anything, and then they'd start drowning out anybody that was ever critical or had a suggestion, or very closed off. I remember going to a lot of the PAX events, and there were, you run into a lot of people just on the street corners at a traffic light or something, and one of the partner managers, I heard him eavesdropping like, "Oh, you're one of the chosen ones. You know, you don't have to worry about anything. You're going to get this or that." And that's when you kind of understand where this is kind of going.
So you kind of like had a certain vibe towards the end, towards this.
Way before that, yeah.
Way before that, okay.
Yeah.
So your experience changed quite a bit then. Since then, did you notice a shift in your community, like on a more downward slope, or did you just kind of adjust and move forward?
My community's wonderful. They've always been in my corner. It's more the trying to get Mixer to work with me or even listen to me that was the big hurdle. And there were things I got in black sheeped over. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Cabby and the Supa and all the stuff that came out recently. But those names, people like that, had slandered me a good amount of times within the community, and then now look where we're at.
Right, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely you have a unique perspective there. Well, did the recent Mixer shutdown come as a surprise, and how are you know, what are your plans moving forward from that? Were you thinking about switching platforms before that, or were you just kind of riding the wave on Mixer? And
it was funny, last year I was going to move to Twitch, and I decided to stay because I actually literally had some people crying, begging me to stay, because I had been there from the beginning and it was sad and all that. And I stayed. And then after constant banging my head against the wall type exchanges with Mixer, not getting anywhere, not getting to listen to me, I decided to take a hiatus to write a book. And then in the middle, like, I think it was probably 4 to 5 weeks into that, the big Mixer news announced. I was like, oh my gosh. In the middle of my break, it just goes tits up. So that was
Do
rough.
you feel any responsibility for that since you weren't there?
People have made that joke, but I was nowhere near their cream of the crop, top of the partner list. So who knows?
Yeah. Tell us a little about the book you're writing. Is it done? I mean, that's a short amount of time, right? I can't imagine. Maybe it is. I don't know. How long does it take to write a book?
I got just over 41,000 words. So about 5 weeks I did that. And it's rough draft. I'm waiting for editors. My dad's actually the first person that actually finished reading it just yesterday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm waiting on the artist and the editor, and I want to have it out on my birthday in August. So fingers crossed. It's dark fantasy and a cyberpunk aesthetic, I guess is how you describe it. If you guys like Final Fantasy type games, but in a futuristic type setting.
Yeah, I think I saw you had like a Patreon or something set up for that, right?
Oh yeah. That's all my most lovely supporters have been very, very generous to me on there.
Very cool. Very cool. What is it? What would you say it is about your content? I mean, I know you're taking a break right now, but what would you say it is about your content that kind of makes you stand out? Like how have you found success? Why have people come to your channel? What's led them to want to stay and continue to watch?
I think the best response I've ever heard from that was from my own wife, because she was actually a viewer, and she used to work at the Food Network in New York and had long, late hours at night, and was a huge Resident Evil fan. I was doing a full Resident Evil marathon dressed up as with a bullet vest and all this stuff, RPD. And she used it as background noise every day. And she said, what made her keep coming back is I always made it feel like a show, that if you didn't tune in, you felt like you were missing out on something.
I like that. It's a good angle.
In relation to always playing something like every single Resident Evil, there's not a lot of people willing to commit to that sort of thing, especially the really old ones.
So I have to ask, was she your wife at the time, or was that something?
No, she was a viewer and top donor in those days.
So she literally.
I'm in Arizona, and then I flew out there to meet viewers in New York, and she picked me up from the airport, and the rest is history. Yeah,
Holy
and
cow.
she moved here 4 years ago now, and we got married last year. We did our wedding on Mixer.
No way.
Yeah, it was
Holy
a little funny mockery. It wasn't like a big fancy thing. It was kind of fun and jokey. I don't know if you guys know Goldilocks and the Bear. You ever heard of that channel?
No, I thought you just meant the nursery rhyme. I'm like, I think.
Oh no.
So I'm like, no, I haven't heard of that one.
They're a mature streamer, and they were our pastor and my wife's best woman, Goldie and Bear. They're two different people. It was pretty funny.
That's really cool. You got Rhino's attention when you said you found love streaming. See, Rhino, this is why you should stream, man.
Yeah, it's truth.
All you gotta
it's
do
good too, because it's like an equalizer, because you automatically have somebody has a shared interest if you're streaming something they like, So something like niche Resident Evil, who would have thought, I'd find my wife doing that.
That is awesome, man. That's cool. Listen, really appreciate you dropping by. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel. Where's a few places that folks can find you if they want to come check you out?
Well, I guess I have to commit to Twitch. I have to go back there, so I guess that'll be the place. Same name. I have the same Mixtopher's on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all of them. I did create the only thing I have right now for my book called Son of Sin, SYN. All I have is a subreddit for it, if people are interested.
So just r/Son of Sin, SYN?
Yep, that's it.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll be sure to drop that in the show notes as well. So
it's got 8 members.
8. Hey, that's 8 more than 0.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Well, we will keep an eye out for you on Twitch when you're back, and definitely keep us posted on the book. I think it's super exciting news. And
this week I'll be back to streaming.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, listen, man, thank you so much for popping in. We appreciate your time, and best of luck with everything. All right, take care. All right, next up we have Mikhailov1. Mikhailov, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing good. Hope we didn't yank you out of too much of an engaging conversation there in the other channel.
Oh no, you're fine. We were talking about Discord notification settings. It was fancy stuff.
Oh, okay, so we did you a favor. You're welcome.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice, man. So give us a quick intro. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you like to stream, that type of thing.
So I'm Mikhailov1. I advertise myself mostly as a Nintendo variety streamer because these days I just seem to only be playing Nintendo Switch. and I got my start on Twitch. Moved to Mixer about a year ago, and we're back.
Back to Twitch.
Back to Twitch.
Unwillingly, I guess, kind of forced.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about that. What was your experience with Mixer like? You were there. It sounds like you were there for about a year.
I was there for about a year.
So what brought you there from Twitch originally, and kind of how was that year that you spent with Mixer?
Well, what I was finding with Twitch was the community was not only hard to establish, but I was also getting some people in my streams that were just, I mean, for lack of a better word, unusual, and it would cause trouble. And I would hear from a fellow streamer who had just recently moved to Mixer about how the community had just, they're all there for each other. And I had hemmed and hawed for a good 2-3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Took a break from streaming for maybe about one of those 2-3 months, and then I say, I'm gonna do it. I'm going over, and I went over, and yeah, sure enough, I was getting a couple of community regulars. I was playing multiplayer with people in my chat. They would just come in, see what I was playing, and be like, "Hey, mind if I join you?" Sure, why not? And it started to become something. I'd gotten involved with the mixed play option. I had learned that. The only thing I was missing out of the whole moving from Twitch experience was clips. I had finally figured out how to do it on my own, where they would save to my computer and then play on my stream. I was using a bot for that. Then we get clips, and then a week later we get a shutdown notice.
Yeah, I remember that they rolled out the clips thing in a beta for a little while, and then right after they announced it, it was like a week later. They're like, "All right, we're done. It's over."
I'm not even convinced I got an actual clip on the server.
A legit clip.
Yeah.
So what kind of plans do you have now that Mixer is done? Are you just going to stick around at Twitch, or do you think you're going to try out something else like Trovo or YouTube or anything like that?
I'm switched back to Twitch. It was actually kind of a fairly easy transition back just because my page was still up. I just had to update it. And I've done a couple of streams on Twitch. I've had a couple of fellow streamers that didn't actually get to see me on Mixer because they were primarily Twitch and just never typed into the website to come see me. They welcomed me back with open arms. And it is kind of back where I started, but it's what I got. So it's what we all have. So we're plugging along, taking everything I learned from Mixer and just trying to rebuild.
Do you think, because at the time that Mixer was shut down, Mixer had about 5 million unique streamers, which is half as much as Twitch, but still by far the second largest of all the platforms. Do you feel like if enough of those people come to Twitch that that will be a positive influence on Twitch and bring some of those community elements from Mixer over to Twitch that everyone kind of feels are lacking there?
I think it's a definite possibility. The problem with Twitch right now is that probably most of those 5 million people have gone to Twitch in addition to the fact that it was already oversaturated. Yeah. So it's probably going to bury a lot of the ex-Mixer people.
Yeah. I think that's just a discoverability problem in general with Twitch, is that anyone starting out, even if they're coming from another platform, you're still starting out relatively low. You're gonna lose viewers just because of the platform shift. That's just a fact of the business, right? But then you've just got the other side of it, which is the fact that Twitch is just not great for discoverability. And then you've got 10 million people over there, soon to be possibly 15 or 13 or 14 million. That's a lot of people streaming.
Yeah, my concern is actually for the partners. I mean, I'm a small streamer. I'll pull in, double digits on a good day, but I also have a lot of times where I'm just streaming and talking to myself.
Yeah.
But the partners, they maybe made affiliate within their first week, but they still have a long road ahead, especially if this was their full-time job.
Let me ask you this. We didn't ask the guys before you this, but I think it's an interesting question. Why is it, do you think, so many of the Mixer people chose not to go onto Facebook and went back to Twitch if they came there from before? Why do you think that was?
the people that I've talked to, ex mixers, they have a lot of privacy concerns. One of them is I don't want to stream with my real name, because
Yeah.
Facebook, they were concerned that Facebook was going to take their real name and pop that up, and now all of a sudden, like, their mother is watching them play a video game, or their sister, or whatever, and that's not really what they wanted. They wanted to engage the gamer community and the people that they've met through the platform. They weren't really interested in streaming to their family and friends, and they were worried about, privacy getting in the way.
They did that when they started streaming and didn't have anyone to watch them, right? So you're like, family and friends, come give me a boost.
Yeah. I mean, even
Yeah.
then, like, I tend to stream on times when my wife is at work because I don't want her to overhear me.
Sure. And you said you're primarily doing Switch right now?
Primarily Switch games, yeah. I actually am doing a little bit of a build up to Paper Mario Origami King. I'm gonna finish the original Paper Mario this week, and then next week it's all into Origami King.
Nice. Cool. Tell us real quickly before we let you go, what is it about your channel that is exciting and fun and unique and would make people want to tune in and stick around?
I think probably the part that sets me apart from everybody else is the fact that I just sing whatever song is on stream, and it's just not good. Mostly it's just humming whatever Nintendo music is playing in the background, but other times I'll just random lyrics, or my commentary tends to be a little bit odd, we'll call it that.
That's why you stream when your wife isn't home?
That's pretty much why I streamed. When I first started streaming, I was in my living room with 12-inch wires going from my main TV to my laptop using the laptop's webcam. And I would say something, and my wife, who was in the kitchen, would just all of a sudden turn around and just give me these looks. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I think I need to move this operation in the office.
Good call. Yeah. Good call. Cool, man. So where can folks find you if they want to check out your content? If you want to plug your channel and a couple socials, feel free.
I only have one social, Twitter, and that's at Mikhailov1, and my Twitch channel, exactly the same, Mikhailov1.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, we appreciate you popping in. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us tonight, and we will we'll stop by and say hi sometime.
All right, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Hey, no problem. Take care.
You too.
Bye. And last up, rounding out the show, is xLikeABoxx. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Man, we are doing awesome. So we've had a good chance to kind of talk to everybody tonight, and you're the last one, certainly not the least, I'm sure, but we are excited to have you here. We've learned a lot of things. We've confirmed a lot of things that we thought we knew to be true about why people like Mixer and why they don't like some other platforms. So we're definitely interested to hear kind of your take on stuff. But before we dive into that, just maybe just give us like a quick intro on who you are and what types of content you like to stream.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I really am super excited about it.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm xLikeABoxx. I really stream anything and everything underneath the sun. I'm a variety streamer. I tend to stay away from sports games unless like you can run over people with cars and just fun things, just because I'm the type of guy who I play sports my whole entire life. And if I'm going to spend time in a video game, I'm going to be doing something that I can't in real life, that I can't just walk outside and do. So, which is totally understandable sometimes. And yeah, so I normally just stream oftentimes with my wife. I stream with my friends and family, and I'm overall a very positive streamer. I firmly believe that games are built to have fun, and that's really what I want to showcase. Just kind of be a good influence, be just a positive influence, to where back in the day you would have these people, LAN parties, and I loved LAN parties, and people would get together, right? And we'd all just have fun, be relaxed, kick butt when we can kick butt, and just have a grand old time. And that's really what I showcase. I want to kind of bring that back to the table, to where with my viewers and my supporters, we're all just hanging out and just there to have a good time.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think what you just said there, that's relatable to a lot of people, and I think for me, a big part of why I enjoy watching streams is because it reminds me of what it was like to be at a friend's house or whatever before streaming was a thing, and to have to take turns, not have enough controllers or not have enough consoles or not have enough TVs or whatever it was, or live too far away that you didn't want to lug your computer over to their house, just things like that, right? And it's now you don't have to do any of that. You can literally enjoy and get that same feeling being pretty much anywhere now, which is pretty darn exciting. Tell us a little about what was your experience with Mixer like. What did you like? What didn't you like? How was that?
I absolutely loved Mixer, and as always, and I guarantee you, everybody else said it before me, that the community is what made Mixer, and I'm not the only one that said it for sure. The community is the best thing that was a part about Mixer. Just it was more family oriented, family based, and we supported each other. There was a lot of support for the smaller community, for the smaller streamers out there, and that's what really just built it. And I think too that Mixer did a really good job, since they understand that they had a lot of a smaller, younger viewer base. They did a very well job of monitoring some really content that needed to be monitored
Mhm.
when it was the case.
So you've said a couple things. I just wanted to maybe unpack it a little bit, clarify. Would you consider your streams to be family friendly?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So
But
how do you like that? I feel like that's hard to do, right? Maybe it's because um, it's just in gaming culture and streaming culture, you don't see that very often, and even when you see content creators say like, no, it's family friendly, it's not. It's always kind of subjective, right? Like what's friendly to one family may not be to another type of thing. So curious to know like your experience as a family friendly streamer. Like how has that been, and how have you how have you managed to stand out in an audience where I would say a good chunk of, if not most streams, probably wouldn't pass the family friendly test.
Absolutely. Yeah. So definitely, I'm the type of person who what you see on camera is me. Like, I don't curse in real life. And if I'm not going to do it in real life, I'm not going to do it on the stream. I mean, what you see is what you get. I'm a big
Mhm.
believer in that. And my wife is the same way. We have a great relationship. And that's also another thing that I want to showcase to my viewers. And just, I mean, being able to have a wife to have as much, sometimes, if not more fun playing video games than I do is like a gamer's dream, to be able to be married to a gamer and currently who's currently playing Fortnite right now as we speak, because I mean it's just awesome to say. And I want to kind of be a positive influence to be like, look, if you want to strive for that, you can, you know but back to the family thing, it is definitely a struggle. It's also a lot of the, especially with back to Mixer, your rating was based off of the game's rating. So,
Mhm.
like Escape from Tarkov, I'm a big Escape from Tarkov fan. I myself am not a 18 and 18 and up streamer, but I
Mhm.
had to mark those 18 and up because of the game by
Game
default.
content. Yeah.
Right. So it is limiting on what games I stream, but the thing is what I'm going to produce is not that type of content. And I will say though too, it's honestly been kind of a lot easier than what I expected it to be, because as a streamer, you set your community, which means, right off the gate, if anybody I'm playing with, I'm like, look, you've got to be this type of person, just understand the rules of what I expect from my community and the community
Yeah.
expects from me. And it's really nice to be able to have those people to be like, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's fine. And it brings a whole nother different atmosphere to streaming because they understand what level we need to play on. And it, to me, it brings even more enjoyment out of the stream because we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's super insightful. I've always kind of figured, it's probably challenging to sort of navigate those waters, going the path that you are. Not personally challenging. Obviously, it's a lifestyle that you've chosen to live, so I'm sure it's easy in that regard, but just in terms of like the environment, the community, making sure that you maintain that same level of family friendliness, not just within your stream, but within the community itself, having the right moderators, getting taking the trash out, so to speak, and doing all that. So I think that's great. And I definitely commend you for staying the line on that and staying true to what you believe. and carrying that through in your content. I think that's important. That authenticity is a big thing. What are your plans now that Mixer's done?
I went back to Twitch. So when I first started my streaming adventures here, I started on Twitch. Didn't have the very best, I just had a few trolls, and that's pretty much all I had come to my community. Switched to Mixer was completely different, and then I was looking into YouTube, but I still feel that Twitch is still my better option. And so far, I have to say it has been a complete different atmosphere. It's just been absolutely amazing, and I've really, really enjoyed streaming to Twitch.
Different from the last time you were there is what you mean?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Have you considered trying any other platforms like Trovo or DLive, Caffeine, anything like that?
I have, but then again, it's kind of like with Mixer. You kind of take that risk that it's a smaller platform, so there, of course, there are always that risk that they're going to just swipe the rug underneath you.
Yeah.
And that's just what it comes with it. I have really thought about doing some YouTube streams. Still kind of on the fence to if I really am going to do it, just to test the waters, just to try to build my YouTube a little bit. But the thing with YouTube is it kind of works like if you have a great subscribers, then it's kind of what you already pull from.
Yep.
If you don't, it's really difficult, even more so on Twitch, to start brand new because you don't have any subscribers to join in, or at least that's my understanding. So
yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting, and Robo, who's with us here as well, he's a YouTuber, but he's recently got into doing some different streaming stuff, and he was trying Trovo for a little while. And I think Robo, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you had said one of your concerns when you were looking at it too was the whole notion of like, hey, this Mixer just got pulled, and they were way more established. Like, do I really want to invest time in this platform?
Yeah, that was part of it, and then the other part of it is since it is owned by a Chinese company, and there's already debates about like banning TikTok and other Chinese apps. I was kind of concerned about that as well. But I liked streaming on Trovo. It's a really solid platform. It was fun, but I just don't know if it's worth the risk, and that's why I went back to YouTube.
Well, I feel too that that's why nobody. Oh, I'm not going to say nobody. There is a small amount, but that's why the majority of people who were on Mixer didn't go to Facebook, just because everybody knows the history of the privacy issues of what they have, and it just you kind of lost the trust of people. And
yeah.
And that's really what we have. Like, if you can't trust the platform that you're streaming on, then why are you streaming to it? I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, I'm like a huge, anybody who listens to the podcast knows this. I'm like a huge anti Facebook guy. I despise Facebook. And YouTube has had its controversy as well, but I think Google overall doesn't have as many, I mean, at least that I'm aware of, doesn't have as many concerns as some of these other companies like Facebook or, Chinese companies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's it's an interesting landscape to say the least. And one more question a couple more questions, but the next question I have for you is, was Facebook ever even a consideration for you, or when Mixer said, hey, you can go here and do this, where you're like, absolutely not, like not even in the cards?
No, so yeah, it wasn't even in the cards. Me personally, I'm not a huge Facebook fan as it is to begin with, just with the app. I'm like everybody else. I have it for, keeping tabs on family members that I, who live out of state and yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not the biggest fan. And then I also feel that, I mean, a majority of us got burned of how we just like, oh, okay, yeah, Mixer's leaving. And then, oh, here comes Facebook. And it was a bad transition to begin with. It's like, what did you really expect everybody just to transition over to Facebook? Because a lot of people
Facebook did.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what was set up, but the attitude was the complete opposite. It's like, no, I'm not gonna transition again because you just stabbed me in the back, type of feeling.
Yeah. Did you? I meant to ask some of the others this question. I didn't, but did you have any indication leading up to what happened at Mixer? Did you have any indication that something was coming, or even a feeling that something was coming?
To be honest, yes and no. Just because of the fact that they were really slow for the majority of the year. I'm that just to really do anything. Like, there wasn't really a whole lot of things coming out to the platform. There was still some major bugs that still, perturbed the community base, and it was really kind of silent. And of course, they had some big things announced and kind of gave us some promises and stuff. And then, if you guys remember, Clips literally came out, I don't know how soon, right before they kind of swept us underneath the rug and out the back door. But Clips just came out, like the beta for everybody, which was huge and what was a lot of people, waiting on. But to be honest, I mean, it was kind of like, we're kind of in the waiting period there for the longest time of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, there were it was crazy because, Mixer started out as the platform that had way better technology and it was much more stable than Twitch because Twitch was like the first, so they kind of had to make all the mistakes for everyone to learn from.
Yep.
And Mixer had that going for them, right? They were by far the better platform from a technology standpoint. And then Twitch just started adding features and they worked for the most part, but they broke and it was cumbersome and it was heavy and there were issues, but still it worked. But Mixer just kind of stopped innovating on that, and then they went all in on content creators, but they didn't do anything else from a platform standpoint to kind of keep that momentum going. They said, okay, we got to a point, we're going to stop. Now we're going to switch and go to this other thing. And I feel like if they had Clips a year sooner, I think it would have helped tremendously. And it would have been such a benefit for you guys as content creators to have that additional opportunity for your content to be shared out. I mean, now when you go and look and you see clips of streams that are being shared, it is almost entirely Twitch. It's probably 98% Twitch that's getting shared. And it's not just because there's more viewers there. It's because they just did it right and they were the first to do it. And everyone else is just like, dragging their butts trying to get it done.
Well, I think too, the major thing, what I have noticed when I switch over is integration. Everything is integrated in Twitch. Like I just set up my merch stuff for my channel, and then it was like, oh yeah, do you want to integrate Twitch to it? I'm like, yes, please. And Mixer never had any of that. And a lot of these other platforms, I mean, yes, you can still go into you just had to download your streams from Mixer. You had to clip it, cut it, and then repost it to other of your social medias, and it was a bit of a hassle, but you still technically could do it. I mean, it was a big struggle, but you could do it. It's just what it is.
So tell us real quick before we go, what is it about your channel, side? I think it's unique in the sense that, like, what we discussed before, but what is it in your words about your channel that makes it stand out? Why should someone watch your channel? Why should they stick around? Why should they follow? Why should they subscribe?
Well, definitely, I always tried my very best to have a positive, uptight attitude and what I always bring. And there's always someone laughing somehow, some way. That's really my go-to. And the main reason why I started it is because I am so passionate about streaming and that we all have just a blast streaming it. And when I mean we, as my wife and my friends, like we laugh, we cut up, we have an absolute blast. And I think that that's really something that you can showcase, just because, I mean, it doesn't matter what we're playing. It doesn't matter if we're playing a super competitive game or something just super relaxed like Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth, like it doesn't matter what we're playing.
That's nice, man. Yeah, I definitely get the vibe of like that old school kind of like LAN party type environment. It sounds like that's sort of what you're going for on your channel. So that's cool. I'm picking that up as well. Hey, that's great, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. Real quick before we go, we'd love to give you an opportunity to tell folks where they can find you.
Absolutely. So my Twitch is LikeABoxx, but spelled with 2 X's. And then my Twitter is at LikeABoxx Gaming. And then Instagram is at Steven_box_. And then my YouTube is just LikeABoxx with 1 X.
Awesome. So we'll get those posted up in the show notes, episode notes as well. So for folks that are listening, if you want to check out LikeABoxx, highly recommend it. We are absolutely thrilled to have you on the show. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight and for sharing your Mixer story with us.
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here for sure.
All right, man. You take care now.
Yes, sir. You as well.
All right. Bye. All right, guys. What do you think? That was fun, right? Learned a little bit about Mixer, learned a little bit about YouTube, and got to talk to some cool folks doing some cool things. So we certainly appreciate all the streamers that took time to join us on the show tonight. We know we ran a little bit long, but we had some cool folks on here, and we were excited to hear what they had to say, get that firsthand experience with something that's important to the industry and is happening right now, which is Mixer shutting down and everyone kind of figuring out where they're going to go. So that said, that concludes this episode of the StreamKick Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we would really appreciate it if you gave us some feedback on, again, wherever the hell you can give podcast feedback, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever's out there. If you just want to email us or tweet at us, you can do that as well. Social, we're easy to find. Twitter and Instagram, both at StreamKick Pod. That's StreamKick POD. On the web at StreamKick.com. And on Facebook at Watch StreamKick. And Robo, where can folks find you?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, RoboKast, RoboKast, and I'm also on Twitter as well, same username.
Are you still doing the Medium thing as well?
Yes, I'm also writing articles on Medium. My Medium username is at Tanner, Tanner, Pappy, Papy.
Awesome. Yeah, you've put some good stuff up on there. I've enjoyed reading those articles.
Thank you.
If you guys are into kind of getting the inside behind the scenes on what it's like to be a YouTuber and try out streaming and things like that, Robo's been posting up some really cool stuff. And Ace, where can everybody find you, man?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Ace Aspires.
Ace Aspires. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We will catch you next week.